Question 4. How did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? In my research and planning stage of the task, I used a variation of media technologies to present my work onto my WordPress blog. For example, to show my deconstructions, I used the site Scribd. I also have used many Prezis and Wii videos, which are similar to Microsoft PowerPoints but are more creative. I used it to show my mise-en-scene, focus groups and certification, as well as other pages. I also used it to show the development of my ancillary tasks. When completing my survey, I made a survey using SurveyMonkey. I was then able to distribute it across social media, such as Facebook and Twitter, to reach out to my target audience. We have also used videos to present our work, as well as using my phone camera, an EE Kestrel, to film the screen test in the location scouting, and to film the feedback of our focus groups. I have made my blog more creative by using SlideShare a few more times. I did try it, but I found it very difficult to use, and it is very time-consuming. During the editing stage, we experimented with a green screen to make the Sky News report as realistic as possible. First, I had to film my actor in front of a green screen. Then, using Serif Movie Plus Digital Edition, I had to edit out the green screen by putting a video from YouTube over the top of it. I then used the chroma key to fade out the green colour so the actor is superimposed upon the background. This enabled me to use shadows and colour to change the background to make it more realistic. Then I took an image of the Sky News logo off Google Images and inserted it onto the clip. I also tried to copy the format and structure of the news programme by using the same colours, style and font. I used the font Futuristic and used that to show the signpost of the news headline. I then went on to Insert, CG Clip and then to Quick Shape, where I selected a rectangle. By going on General, I changed the colour and transparency. I then went on to transform and change the size of the rectangle and crop it to the right shape. I did the same for the running news feature at the bottom, which is a yellow rectangle. I then had to change the size of the Sky News logo by pressing Ctrl-T and Shift at the same time as cropping it. I added the rolling text by selecting the scrolling animation and experimented with the speed that the text would appear on, so it would replicate a real news programme. I chose the duration to be 22 seconds long, so to fill up the whole time of the dialogue. I also decided to have the time at the bottom of the screen. I used the same font and used the same white box as on Sky News. I then copied and pasted the clip and changed the time from 21:59 to 2200, which is the likely time the news would be on television. We also added effects on the videos. This includes the home video, where we added a filter to make it blurrier and scratchier, as if it were an old tape. We also added a colour gradient with a blue tint to make the shot of the mill look more threatening. Additionally, we had a point of view shot of the protagonist when she's held hostage. We added a filter on top, which made the shot out of focus and blurrier, and this made it more disconcerting, as if we were looking through the protagonist's bewildered eyes. When creating my magazine and poster, I used Photoshop for the first time. I discovered if you press Ctrl-T, then you resize the image simultaneously with holding down the Shift button. I was able to use the rubber tool to blend in the main image of the protagonist in the background of my poster, and I learned that if you use a large brush with a low hardness, it blends in more effectively. I tested out different fonts with different colours for the text to see which is the most eye-catching. I wanted the character to have a direct mode of address to establish a relationship with the audience in both the poster and the magazine cover. I decided to use a black background for the magazine so the main image and the text would stand out. I then attempted to change the colour of the eye to make them stand out and look more eerie to reinforce our thriller genre. I attempted to do this by copy and pasting the selection of the eyes and then changing the brightness and the opacity. I then had to use the rubbing tool again to blend in the colour to her original face. Additionally, as the name of our film is Sieged, I had to take out the E and replace it with an E that looked handwritten, so it links with our film. The abductor circles the photo of the victim with a red pen. I created the letter by going on Paint and drawing it out myself. I then copied it onto Photoshop and using the magnetic lasso tool to cut around the image and insert it into the title. I created my magazine prior to my poster, so I was more confident with the software, as well as using the tools I mentioned previously. I also made the shadow by replicating the image, then rotating it. I then coloured in that image with a black paintbrush with low opacity. Then I deleted the original image, so I was left with a faint black image. I also chose the background to be a shot of a mill where we filmed our trailer. I did experiment with the colour grading to make it blue, which made it colder to link with the genre. In both the poster and the magazine cover, I warped the title to make it more original. I had to experiment with the horizontal and vertical distortions. As the image I used for the background did not fit the whole page, I had to use the clone stamp tool and press Alt to extend the image. When creating the evaluation, I presented question 1 using a Prezi. I found this easier to use. I had quite a lot of practice using the software. For question 2, I made a SlideShare, and question 3, I made a Powtoon. As I had never used Powtoon before, I did struggle getting used to it, but after some time, I did become more confident. It was extremely time consuming compared to using a Prezi or a SlideShare.